everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Julia and today I'm super excited to share with you all my room makeover. So a little background for those of you who are new, I recently moved home back to my parents' house because the pandemic has allowed me to work from home, at least temporarily. And so if you're interested in more of the details about that decision, or if you're interested in seeing what my old place looked like, I actually made a New York City apartment tour video, which I will link up above. But to keep things short and sweet, I feel like ever since I've moved home, my productivity level has just been really low. I just really need a bright and clean place for me to do my work, to take my meetings, to film my YouTube videos. And so I put myself up to the task of redoing my high school bedroom. So before we move any further, I want to quickly show you guys some before shots so you guys know what the hell I'm working with. This was the current state of things when I moved home. Obviously, this room was a big pile of mess. This room used to be my old high school bedroom, but ever since I left for college and I kind of moved out, my parents have slowly transformed this room into their storage room. I also put a lot of my apartment storage in this room as well. So right now I'm actually living in my little sister's bedroom because she's off at college, so don't worry, I'm not sleeping on the couch. So my goal was to transform this storage room into my new home office / guest bedroom. This entire process took me like more than 3 months, I want to say. So we have come a very long way, and now I'm super excited to just share with you the entire process and obviously the final results as well. And with that, let's just get started with the video. So I split this entire process into 4 different steps. The first one is cleaning and decluttering. The second one is prepping and painting. The third one is rearranging and building. And the fourth one is decorating and personalizing. So the first step that I did for this room makeover was what I like to call throwing all of the shit out. So I grew up with a family of hoarders, and not only do we keep things for its sentimental value, but we also feared that maybe one day we might need these items, which I doubt will happen because at this point we haven't touched them for the past 10 years, so it was just finally time to throw these things out. So in order to accomplish this, I had to rent a small dumpster because all of this shit wouldn't fit in our regular trash cans, obviously. And this dumpster was quite pricey, but the deed needed to be done. I think it's glued. So the first piece of furniture that I wanted to get rid of was this really big and bulky dresser. We've had it for maybe over 30 years at this point, and we definitely got some really good use out of it. It was just time to say goodbye. This piece of furniture is the bane of my existence. To be honest, I definitely underestimated how heavy this shit was, and because all of the edges are glued tight, I couldn't even like dissect the pieces and move them separately. I had to like move it as one unit, and I was a one-woman team. I'd like to think that I'm pretty fit and pretty strong, but this was definitely way over my head. Alright y'all, so I've given up on this freaking vanity drawer thing. Tomorrow I think one of my relatives is gonna come and help me hammer this. This shit's like glued in here, so it's pretty hard and it's really heavy. I admit defeat. So after taking a much needed break and sulking, I continued the purging process of this room. So the next piece of furniture is my old study desk. I actually contemplated on if I could refurbish this or flip this to make it more usable, but it was kind of damaged and I was going for more of like a lighter wood aesthetic, so I decided to just throw it out. And this entire process was so much easier than the dresser just because I was able to dissect everything and move it out piece by piece. So a little update on how things are going. It feels like there is some progress because my muscles are pretty sore, but at the same time it doesn't look like there's much progress. I got rid of my desk, so this space is cleared out, and then I also got rid of the drawer right here, but right now that space is being occupied by these bags of clothes, which I need to drop off at Goodwill tomorrow, some storage stuff, and then those things also need to be thrown away. So this pile of shit is from my apartment, so my storage space, that's all from my apartment as well, including all of these things. So yeah, not really sure where to go next, but hopefully it'll start to look a bit better as I move some of these things out. Alright, so step number 2 in this process was to prep and paint the walls. I am currently at Lowe's and I am very overwhelmed. I have never painted a room in my entire life. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and there are so many freaking options. So I actually visited Lowe's twice. The first time I went, I was just super overwhelmed and extremely indecisive. So I just went home with a couple of paint samples and I taped them onto the wall, tried to see what kind of color I wanted, and when I finally made a decision, I went back to grab all of the supplies and then also pick up the paint. So prepping actually took way much more time than painting for me, just because my walls were so badly damaged and they were dirty, there were random globs and dents and holes in the walls, so all of that needed to be cleaned up and prepped before I could actually start painting. So back in high school, I hung up a whiteboard using really bad foam tape, and not only was it a pain in the ass to get off, it also ruined my walls. So after finally removing all of the tape, I went in with some sandpaper to just even out the surface, and then I used some spackle to fill in some holes and also the pieces of the wall that I ripped out. And finally, removing the curtains did wonders because they were not cute. So this is the current state of the room. This is the best that I can do in terms of like emptying this room out. So we still have like my old bed here and then my mattress from my apartment, and then all of these things are storage. So how the painting is gonna work is I started to prep the walls, and then we're gonna paint this wall, and also this wall first, and then wait for it to dry, and then I'm gonna move everything to this wall, and then I'm going to paint the remaining walls here. So it is the next day and I'm doing some finishing touches to prepping before we paint, and that is just taping off the trims with some painter's tape. and then just one final sanding over the places that I patched up yesterday, just to make sure that I'm working on an even surface. So I just finished prepping the room. This took like 5 years because this room is so badly damaged and maintained, but everything is taped, prepped, and ready to go, and we're gonna start painting. So this was my first time prepping and painting a room, and now looking back at this video, I'm like, damn, I look so freaking professional. So here's a big shout out to Monica from Lowe's Home Improvement channel on YouTube for teaching me everything that I know. So I ended up picking up a color called Swiss Coffee, which is just a tad bit off-white, which is pretty typical of me, to be honest. I actually was contemplating on picking out like a non-white color, but because I only have one window in this room and it's a west-facing window, I don't get a lot of natural sunlight in. I really just wanted to brighten up the room, so at the end of the day, white or like an off-white color was the best choice. Painting this room was actually very fun and therapeutic for maybe like the first 30 minutes, and then afterwards I realized how big this room was and that I needed at least 2 coats per wall, and in addition to that, I'm a perfectionist, so it actually ended up being quite a lot for just one person to do, and my arm got really sore. But overall painting experience was pretty good. I'd probably do it again. And now we are finally on to the more fun steps. So step number 3 was to build the furniture. So before I could start building furniture, I really wanted to tuck away all of the storage that was from my old apartment. So I cleared out the closet and took out the drawer so that there was space for all of the storage boxes and my luggages. Not to toot my own horn, but I actually think I did a pretty good job with that. So that just helped clear up the entire room and helped declutter the space. So back to the point of being a family of hoarders, this was actually a spare desk that was lying around the house that no one was using, and it's not exactly the desk that I was looking for because the tone was just a bit too yellow, but it was for free, so I can't actually complain. Next up, I'm just rebuilding this big leather chair that I brought back from my apartment. I also decided that I wanted to upgrade my clothing rack, so I used to own the white plastic rack that all of the fashion YouTubers owned, but that one was just falling apart, so I decided to invest in a sturdier one. Because I'm only staying here temporarily, I wanted to keep my furniture purchases at a minimum. But obviously I had to go to IKEA because this wouldn't be a room makeover video without going to IKEA. And there I bought mostly decorations, but I also bought a chair. So a while back, I made a video titled Working from Home as a Data Scientist, and someone on that video commented, "Hey friend, you need a better chair." And you know what? That person is so right, because I'm almost at a year of working from home and my back freaking aches. Like, I'm not getting any younger, like I'm actually feeling these back pains, so I was just like, I definitely need a better chair. The chair definitely was quite expensive, but I do think that it's worth the investment because I can easily just take this with me when I move. And finally, we have arrived at the last step, which is step number 4, decorating. So my favorite pastime during this quarantine has been to just shop around at TJ Maxx, Home Goods, and Marshalls. So that's exactly what I did. I just went and bought a bunch of random things that I thought would look cute in my room. It's also my dream to own like a bookshelf wall, so I started a bit of that collection by using the ledge that was built into my room. And then I also wanted like a nice aesthetic backdrop for when I take my meetings or when I film my YouTube videos, so I spent a little bit of time decorating that space. Usually I'm not the biggest fan of abstract art, but I do think that they look really cute as home decor, so I picked up this Matisse inspired piece from Redbubble. I needed storage in this room, but most of the storage units that I saw were quite bulky, so I kind of made my own. I ordered this shoe rack from Amazon, which I turned into a small shelving unit, and I got these wired baskets from Home Goods, which I stuffed with just things that I needed on the reg, like some of my makeup, my camera stuff, and then other miscellaneous items. So a couple weeks ago I ordered some curtains from Amazon because I couldn't find ones that I liked when I was at TJ Maxx or Home Goods, and they came and I put them on and they ended up being too short, as you can see. So I just reordered some curtains. They came in the mail today, so I'm gonna put them on. The last and final step was to change the bedding. I don't know who bought these sheets, but they are so ugly and they needed to go. Starting off with the bed, since it is the biggest piece of furniture in the room, just having it look neat and pretty is definitely key. I went for a beige and floral theme here and added in some depth by integrating some different textures like the stripes and the florals on the duvet. I added in a textured throw and topped it all off with the lacy curtains. To add some spice to this corner, I just added some fake plants, a candle, and framed this picture that I drew a while back. Next to the bed is this dresser that I've had for ages and a coat rack. In this closet, as you've seen previously, I've miraculously somehow stored all of my storage inside. On to my favorite part of the room, which is this little coat rack area. Currently it just holds some of my winter coats because I just filmed a winter coats video, and next to it I have this fake fig tree that I got from IKEA. On top I just have some bags, the print that I framed, and I also got a fake hanging ivy plant. And on the side, I have my big, comfy reading chair. Next up, we have this little storage area where I have this full-length mirror that I brought back from my old apartment. On top of the storage bench, I have some jewelry boxes and a table mirror, and these two plants are actually real. I'm trying very hard to keep them alive. Below we obviously have our little storage bins, and next to that I have this big woven basket that is just filled with miscellaneous things right now, so I covered it with a scarf. This woven basket to the side holds a lot of my bigger notebooks and textbooks, and also some snacks for when I'm hungry. Moving upwards, we have this lamp that I just got from IKEA and my little bookshelf ledge that I love. I tried not to drill any holes in the walls because I worked so hard to paint that shit. And if you know me, I love my whiteboards, so having one in this room was a must. Finally, this is the last space in this room, which is my work desk, and I placed it right next to the window so I have ample sunlight throughout the day to keep me awake. On the desk, I just have my laptop and monitor, and also a wireless keyboard and trackpad. And since I'm an avid note taker and writer, I also keep all of my journals on the table as well. And of course, we have my new chair, which has been doing wonders for my back. And to tie everything up, I just rolled out this carpet that I had from my old apartment. So that was the final results. I hope that it lived up to everyone's expectations. That is it for this video. If you've watched all the way up until here, thank you so much. I know that this video was really long, but if you're interested in seeing more room makeovers or home improvement videos, I'm very sure that there's more to come, especially when I start to move out of this place. And with that, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much again, and I will see you all next time. Bye!